I have something to say about myself deceased. I have been hearing above myself that ordered, which means that when somebody doesn't know how to be themselves and they don't know how to die in God, they are ordered by the superior founder because they are in the mix with other people's prejudices and they're not allowed to ruin that for somebody else. Ordered has ordered somebody who is a landlord to this apartment named Jerry, Geri. She's been ordered to charge rent money to this apartment because she cut a hole in the wall to do this. And then she removed the front door in karma. And I'll show you why she removed the front door in karma. But the door is still there. Okay, this is where the other hole in the wall was cut and this was inserted to cover the hole in the wall. And then this is the front door that comes off because the hinges are here. And the front door opens. And when this bed is moved, and it doesn't belong here because it's deceased to have a bed in this room by the door will go all the way until the equipment right there. That's how much space there is until there will be an accident of the door with the equipment. So you either take the equipment out and it leaves a hole in the wall, or you take the door off the hinges and the equipment was inserted, so it's already done. So now the door comes off the hinges so that it doesn't accident the equipment. And I guess it doesn't matter because the door is still here, and that's them still charging rent for that they didn't take the door off, but it's off to me. It's like they should have taken it off at the same time they did the hole in the wall. So that's how I don't have a home here. But they owe me that they pay out a key, and they won't. They won't pay out a key, and they left the door on the hinges, and the door is off the hinges, so they're not going to pay out the key, and I'm due outside homeless on that. I don't have any rental history I can use to rent someplace else. If I could get Social Security Administration to appoint money again to myself, but I wouldn't because that already died or it went missing. Charles Toe is not here, and I didn't kill him myself. Tell everyone I did not kill Charles Toe. The only way I could kill somebody is if I was myself deceased out of the door locking into a walled-in prison with deceased address, and I can kill somebody in a walled-in prison with deceased address, and then I would die that way myself. I wouldn't be reporting it to you on a camera. There's just no way I would be reporting that in myself alive of making a video on a camera. I just wouldn't have a live that way. So if somebody went missing or if he died because that damage was already done to the wall. He didn't fight with the maintenance men or with Jerry that they not do that damage to the wall, and he was the one who paid the rent check for when they did that. I didn't pay the rent check. I stayed here when they did that, but then I went homeless because they did it to this wall right here. They did it twice. I did go homeless and I stayed outside until I died. And it doesn't matter how much I die or which way I die. I guess that it is ordered that they're still going to charge rent money. But how is it ordered that I'm going to pay it? Because I haven't been paying the rent money. Charles Toe was paying the rent money, and I have not paid it since. If Charles Toe brings the receipt back here, I know it's here and I know it's paid for the apartment unit. I don't have a receipt for July of year 2025 right now. I don't have the rent receipt. So I don't know if the rent is paid that way. I just don't know. As far as I am concerned, I did not pay the rent myself. And I don't have what it takes for myself to be elsewheres because it's homeless to be elsewheres. I don't have a house in that scenario either, because the maintenance goes right to the house and does the same thing. And I don't have a trailer because that's out of town. It's true, you can always tell somebody where it is and how to get there. And maintenance will make it so that they are charging me the rent money. And I am not taken out of myself to be formed here anymore, but I have all the debt that I have been here because it's recorded that I was alive this way. And that means that there's no way to alive the world again, because it takes me out of myself into a debt of me paying extortion that goes up, and it just goes up and up. It doesn't stop ever. It doesn't die. And I'm not due in a prison. You're charging somebody who's not due in a prison with criminal activity. And then you do the criminal activity. You do cut a hole in the wall. And I didn't actually do criminal activity. I am myself deceased, the top of the Godhead. There is none higher than me. And there's no one who's going to save me from this and who is going to say you didn't do it because you did it. And then where are you going to go with that? You cut a hole in the wall and put equipment in there that goes inside somebody's window, which is still criminal. That's still criminal if it goes in a window. Yeah, it's still a problem that way. So what's the threatening that I am? Well, when I'm deceased out of this Godhead, I must be deceased into another Godhead, because I have to be sure that I don't alive this one again, and that's not complete with myself being out of the physical Godhead, God form. When I'm not in this God form anymore, there's still evidence of that I was in this crime lording. And the superior founder is where that will be in the afterlife. So I'll be there, but it'll look different for me. And then I suppose you'll be there talking about some of the old things that you did, because you locked me out of places that are not yours with keys that were illegally formed. And there's no way to tell you that with alive, that it would alive that way, that you would know that because of the locking. That's true that you just broke the order and you don't know it and you didn't want to know it and you don't want to hear it from me. And who's going to see this video? Because it's late for me to make this video. I could have made this video, I don't know, 100 years ago before I ever got born, because it's true that I don't know you at all. I didn't come here this way. Somebody's home invasion into my house. I don't know how they got in. They made a key and went in, and then everybody made keys and made trouble everywhere all over the world. It's all criminal mischief. And this is America. It isn't like you could be deported and you are doing that in another country and I'm not there, and then you don't speak English for yourselves. You would speak whatever languages they speak in the foreign country or countries, and including that is also due in prison, and it didn't go to prison. I still don't have the people who stole my house in prison. One of them's missing to the other one, and so I don't see them both. And it's true that I don't know you that way. I don't actually have leverage to be here. I'm eating food that I don't know, and I'm going to be executed by the creation of myself, the creation of itself, because it's homeless at this point. I do have no more karma. I've seen everything deceased and threatening. But why did it ever alive this way? I guess it's because I was homeless in the heavens. I don't stay in heaven. I'm above heaven. I don't move this creation myself. But I can't be above heaven right now because Jesus died. So that's how it caused me to be here. But I don't want it, and I never really wanted it, but we could see it coming because it was elsewhere. Jesus was not doing well. So if he's not doing well, what is the solution to that? Because it does go through alive. Do you know why you're alive? Do you consume it? Like, do you understand it with alive is itself? And you would if you were like myself. I do understand it. But some of you are like illegally alive, and then you're supposed to be homeless for a certain period of time because there's something about you being alive. There's something about it that you owe, that God is going to do things around yourself and with yourself later. That means He has a place for you and your properties later when they're not properties in dispute. You have to know that you don't stay in a property in dispute, that God would give you a property later, and now you have illegal genitals, and the whole illegal genitals must come off. You must know how to get out of them, like how you die out of illegal genitals. That you have to know with themselves, and you clearly don't, which means I can't use that myself was ever formed. When I'm deceased and threatening, that's when everybody else will be deceased out of the formed world with illegal genitals, but not by the illegal genitals. You're just due directly outside homeless and then in jails and prisons if you don't stay homeless. If you have illegal genitals, you don't actually own keys. And what you say about your keys is really wrong. It's just for yourself, but you're not alone. You're wrong that way. You're just further in the wrong than wrong that way.